PlayScripts Inc. hired me to do an online interview with Lauren Gunderson, who's an incredible playwright. Highly recommend checking out her work and her social media feeds. And it was just a one-time little thing, but hopefully will lead to more. And if you or anyone you know needs a host for anything that can be done online, I'm your gal. I have a couple of announcements about the Broadway Shutdown Support Group. The first is that tomorrow at 6 p.m., so Friday at 6 p.m., I'm going to be doing a no guest support group because you are going to be the guests. You are going to get to chime in. I'm going to take requests from people who, this is for tomorrow, who request to be in the live broadcast, and take about 3 minutes with each person, depending on how many people want to chime in, and just hear where you are, what you're doing, how you're feeling, and any coping mechanisms that you can share with us, things that you've been loving and that are bringing you strength. So we're going to do that tomorrow. And my other announcement is that I'm going to be taking Sundays off starting this weekend. I realize that this support group is great for me, and also I just need one day where I try to take all the screens away, including the broadcasts. So we're going to go down to 6 days a week, and Fridays will be for checking in. All right, now it's time to get started with a really, truly wonderful guest. Luis Salgado, I first met outside the theater, an old theater called 37 Arts that isn't around anymore, during the off-Broadway production of In the Heights. I got to see it there before it moved to Broadway, and as I was leaving, one of the ensemble members was walking out too, and we ended up walking to the train together. That was a very long time ago, but I'll never forget it, and I'll never forget his kindness. We've continued to see each other through the years, just at Broadway events and through the community, and I'm just crazy about him. So I'm going to go ahead. Hello. He also has his own production company. He's a director, choreographer. Hello, my friend.
Hola.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Good, and you?
I'm good. I was just saying I have makeup on today, and
You look beautiful.
I got really dressed because I had a little on-camera gig this morning, so I'm feeling a little more alive than I usually do when I'm in my pajamas.
I took a shower for you, which I haven't done probably since last night.
Since last night. I think once a day is a pretty good shower routine.
Yeah, I mean, we're dancing a lot from the living room, so I usually I'm shower right after any dance class because I'm like, I'm stinky, and and so, but today I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep dancing, so I kept doing exercises and playing around, and all of a sudden, you know, I was like, oops, we're doing an interview, I should take a shower.
I have loved your dance videos that you're posting on Instagram. The one with your son, where you are doing all this choreography and he is just living in his own dance dream.
He's the best.
Making it up while he goes.
I want to be like him when I grow up.
You want to be like him?
Yeah.
I want to be like him too. I might.
It's for real. It's like there's something so special about children, you know? And at this time where our minds get so worried with what's going on, and you know, they are innocent and pure, and they need very little to survive and to get through and to be happy, you know? And that's a lesson right away.
So he's being homeschooled right now? Do you have to like?
Yeah. And all the credit goes to my wife because I get the easy work. I get to give him the music classes, the acting, you know, the gymnastics, the dancing, the arts. So I get to give him what I love, and she gets to study everything that they're sending to do the math and the science and the Spanish and the English. So I take my hat off to all the parents who are homeschooling at the moment, and also to all the teachers who are sending such great programming for us to have material at home to work with them.
Yeah, it's funny, like the people who are working right now, I feel like are doing, 20 times as much work they normally have to do.
Yeah.
And the people who aren't working are like at a loss for how to spend their time. I wish we could take some of that on for them.
Well, I don't know what to say. I have to tell you, we are working, like you said, pretty hard, to the point that yesterday was the first day officially that there was a Latina started doing our free online programming. And after the second event, we had like a meeting in the morning and then a class. And the moment that was done, everybody in that house, my wife, my stepdaughter, which is, I'll tell you about her later, my son, and I were all like, we need a nap.
Yeah.
Like the amount of tension, just listening to people's stories, understanding what the reality of the world, and because we got people from Peru, from Argentina, from Mexico, from Colombia, from Puerto Rico, and you know, just to listen to the one thing they hope for themselves and for the people around them, it's draining, you know. And so it's not only the work we're doing, it's the emotional take that work has as well.
Yeah, there's an article that's being shared around social media that says, I can't remember what the exact wording is, but the headline is something like that feeling that you're going through, that's grief.
Say it again.
I can't remember the wording of the title, but it's like you're experiencing grief right now. Even if you don't know anyone who has the virus, or, you know, even if the changes to your own life have seemed minor, the whole country is grieving right now. Or I mean, the whole world is grieving because we don't know what comes next. And I think for some people that's manifesting as crying. For some people it's manifesting as, you know, like not being able to sleep. For some people, getting into a very solid routine where they don't have to think about it is their coping mechanism. And for others, they're just like reaching out and seeking comfort and affection from the people that they love. We all have different coping mechanisms, but what we all have in common is grieving.
1000%. And I think, you know, it's okay to be human, and it's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to feel unstable at some point. And it doesn't mean that we're going crazy. I wrote about that this morning because I felt, you know, as a leader of an organization, I wrote to Tom Viola this morning and I was like, how are you doing? You know, how's everything going with you? Because leaders take the role, you know, you take the fire and you march forward. And I think at some point in our lives, it was just the pure passion of doing that. And then another point in our life, it became a responsibility, right? There's a moment when you can no longer let go of that torch, even when you need help yourself. And so this morning I woke up feeling like, shit, I don't have the answers. I don't know, you know, I know we're contributing something that's special, but like you just said, you need Sunday off. And, you know, you need Sunday off. And so when I look at the reality of my own home, it's like, am I taking care of my own home while taking care of everybody that I can affect through Revolución Latina's work? And so at that point, you're tired. And I woke up and I started saying, I wrote to Tom Viola because it's like, he's that leader that's like right there campaigning right now to be able to fundraise for the Actors Fund and be able to bring some...
runs Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. And,
and at the moment, the main mission of what our season of fundraising was going to be became about, obviously, the coronavirus and all the artists that are without work. And that the Actors Fund takes care of them, and Broadway Cares takes care of the Actors Fund with the donations that they pass forward to the Actors Fund. So the leadership that there is to be admired and applauded and respected, but also my text message wasn't about that. It was like, how are you?
That's amazing. That's so powerful. Because you're right, that Broadway Cares and the Actors Fund are taking care of all of us. And Tom is taking care of the organizations, but who's taking care of Tom?
Yeah.
You are. And if we all as a community can turn around and take care of him, then it becomes a beautiful circle of giving and generosity. How inspiring. Amen.
Well, and how necessary, right? How needed it is. Like, I wish I could actually be calling everybody, like the people like Lynn. Think about Lynn. How much does Lynn gives? How much does Luis, Lynn's father, gives? Mm-hmm. And honestly, as much as often I'm like, hey, how are you doing? I haven't dared to do that at this point because it's like everybody's overwhelmed. And so if it was for me, I'll be calling kind of everybody and being like, how you doing? You know, and I know that people need it. Like I've been, not to bring us down. We can talk about so many different topics, but you know, just the last 2 days, realizing how many dancers that I know that I work with have been affected. Actors that I serve with Revolución Latina, one of them, Tiffany, an actress, Latina actress, It's been in the hospital for the last 8 days, and on two, so it starts becoming real. And also going back to Broadway Cares, you realize, wow, how was that time back in the 80s and 90s when people were unfortunately dying left and right out of HIV, and Broadway Cares was doing everything they could to be able to fight that battle. And so it's not necessarily that I'm making any comparisons, but if we don't take care of each other, if we really don't stay home, we will continue to spread a disease that will never allow this wonderful, island of Manhattan and the world to be better. So all the things we love, all the passions we share, that we are so well portraying how we can share them through these devices at this moment. Thank God for the technology and for using it this way. But we want to hug, we want to kiss, we want to shake hands, we want to go to the theater. We want to say thank you to these nurses and medical workers who are taking care of thousands of people at the moment, and we want to do that in person. So we need the world to get better, and it's just, anyway, I'll shut up.
No, I think this is amazing because, we could just be like, oh my God, remember that time we ran into each other at Kodama Sushi? That was so fun. Like we could, and I think conversations like that are important, but I also think that the reason I call this the Broadway Shutdown Support Group is so that we can talk about whatever's on our minds,
right?
And we can connect and remind each other and inspire each other of something like sending a text message to someone who's giving care to somebody else. That's huge. I also think that it's important to reach out to people when you're not asking them for anything. And I need to practice that better because I'm reaching out like to you and being like, hey, how are you doing? Want to come on my show?
Right, but it's part of what we do. I would never judge you, and I don't think anybody will judge you because that's what we do. And I'm so proud of you and so proud of your show and so proud of your example as somebody that was somebody watching theater and said, I can share the stories of the theater I'm watching. And I've seen you develop this person and this brand and this name for many years. And it's amazing. And I'm honored that you're calling me,
Oh.
And I'm sure that everybody that's not being able to do a show right now that gets to share a little bit of their perspective of their life, of their joy, of their passion, somehow gets to exude some of the shit that's in our brain. And so thank you for the work you're doing, so it's not
like to cry.
No, but it's true. And we just don't recognize each other, I think, enough. And it's not about the pat in the back, and it's not about the applause. It's about the necessity of some of the work and some of the actions we do as humans, as individuals, So I applaud you, but like I applaud you, I applaud everybody who's making a difference right now. Starting from the first person that I talked to was this girl, Valentina, who has a company called Go Broadway. And immediately she took action and she was like, I want you to talk to, there were like, I don't know, 800 people watching this conference that I did with her all around Latin America who are suffering the same reality that we're suffering here, that that Italy is suffering, that Spain is suffering. We're, for the first time in our life, for the first time in forever, for the first time in forever, we're like all living the same shit. No matter if you're rich, if you're poor, if you live in a third world country, quote unquote, or if you live in the greatest quote unquote nation of the world, we're living the same reality. And the question is, what are we going to do for each other? And better off, what are we going to do after this passes?
That's right.
Right? Because it's easy to go back to our real life and forget that we have to continue to take care of each other. And what does that really mean?
What do you think it means?
I think it means taking care of the universe to begin with. I think that, not to be about climate or anything to bold it on our heads, but I think that we are damaging the world that we are surrounded with. I think that we're damaging our human relationships. Like just an hour ago, Matt Steffens was giving a free class in Revolución Latina, and we had hundreds of people from all around the world. And so that kind of, we're here for each other when we're going. We don't stop and we don't stop and acknowledge or take advantage of or celebrate it. And I think, so that's another thing we got to do more. It's like we work, and we're hungry, and ambition and dreams and are all great. And I have so many of them, but it's also good for me to realize, shit, it's been great that I'm home with my son and that he wants me to just watch him dance Frozen for 2 hours and Cats for another 4. You
Oh my
know?
God. 4 hours of Cats?
Yeah, it's hard.
Are you
He
listening
loves
to the
it.
Broadway album or the movie?
He does all of it. So he starts with the DVD. He probably played the DVD, and then he does the entire DVD. And then he talks to Alexa. Alexa plays Cat. And you know, and then he every now and then does In the Heights or On Your Feet or does something else. And then comes back to Cat. Like, he loves it. He loves every show that I don't.
Is he going to be a performer? How old is he?
I don't know what he's going to be, but I'll show you. I don't know what he's going to be. And originally I was like, I'm not even going to try to get him into the arts. Mm-hmm. Because, but hold on. Hold on.
Come out the door.
What are you doing, baby? You don't want me to show you? What are you doing? He's doing, this is what he's doing right now. So, Hikari, are you a dancer?
Me?
Are you a dancer?
No.
Hikari, he always tell, I'm like, Hikari, what do you want to be? I'm just like, I'm a dancer, daddy.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I don't know what I hope he is whatever he wants to be. We sell short too often, you know. We sell short too often and stop doing the things we love, or loving the people we want to love, or you know, we cut ourselves short so quick and so often that I just wish he does what he loves and that he can live well with it. Somebody's laughing. I think I'm following my son around. The what?
You are setting such a great example because you have made a career of doing what you love. And,
thank you.
It's not just about being a performer. Like, you're really passionate about creating a radio. I know that. And I know that you have, you know, I think I see you primarily a dancer, but you're also an actor, you're a choreographer and a director. It still breaks my heart that I never made it down to DC where you did the Spanish language in the high.
That was a wonderful experience. I'm very proud of that theater, and unfortunately they're going through some things too, because I mean, you know, like every theater's been affected by this virus, and I know that in-house they have people that have unfortunately obtained the virus, so they're really taking care of themselves and the people they work with, but it's unfortunate because, you know, it's a little beautiful Latino house that's been there for over 40 years in Washington, D.C. And when they they are Gala Theatre, Teatro Gala. And when they called in to do the show, we even purchased, you know, 2 different rights. We purchased the show as is, and we got the one that Lynn had approved from Dominican Republic. And and then made a hybrid out of those 2 scripts in order to serve the audience and the population that we knew were going to be our audience base. And so I have huge respect for them. They've never taken on such a big job, like economically and logistically, like they did with that. And it paid off. You know, we got 18 nominations to the Helen Hayes Award, and I think we won like 9 of them. So it opened up a new world for Gala Theatre, and they've been following up with doing new works. After that, we did Fame, the musical, also a hybrid in Spanglish, and now they're already planning what they want to do.
Famoso? How do you say fame in Spanish?
Fama.
Fama. Okay.
But what we did was we said Fame el musical.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's like what I try to do with them. It's create a very Spanglish world that will enhance the American audience coming to their theater, and that will serve obviously the different Latino community that they have already as an audience coming in for 40 years. So that makes us ask a lot of questions as to what a dialogue is. I think one of the most beautiful things I was able to find there is that Benny, we hire an African-American actor who didn't speak Spanish at all. And we put him on the pot of this Latino-based company. He really was like lost in the language. And so his issue was real. and everybody, and so then in the translation he had English, 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 and attempt at Spanish. And by the time you get to When the Sun Comes Down, we flip the song where Nina's singing English and he's singing Spanish, because he's really trying to prove his love to her. And so in the arc of the character, that was everything.
Was that recorded?
Yeah, I mean, we're not allowed to share it, you know, it's that kind of legal reality, but we have what we call the archive.
Yeah, good. I'm glad it exists somewhere, and maybe that version will get licensed. And
yeah, I would love that. I would love that. I haven't dared to ask Lynn, because again, I respect Lynn too much. So well, I'm like, maybe not in a particular moment, but you know him pretty well. No. Yeah, I think at some point in our life, I want to do that version again. And make it, continuing to make it even more cohesive to that language. Then the language became a character very, very specifically. Somebody here saying hello. I love so much theater conservatory. I was assigned to the script study and I enjoyed so much. When I heard that you were live, I was, oh, thank you so much, Leah. Sorry, I just realized that was like a long paragraph and I want to make sure that we acknowledge it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I love it when people jump in the comments. I am giggling because Stacy says lighting is perfect, which first of all, I appreciate. And second of all, is definitely a reference to yesterday's broadcast when it was an hour later, and the sky outside was gray. So I looked so washed out. So I'm glad the lighting.
Sorry, we're being interrupted by my wonderful son.
Hola.
Hola. Don't get shy. Don't get all shy.
Practicar mi español.
¿Cómo fue? Dile. Dile. Sorry, let me make sure that
Practicar mi español.
You hear her? Que si quieres practicar su español. What do you want me to put here, baby?
I said, do you want
the show cast.
I'm sorry, say that again?
The show cast.
The show cats. Okay.
The same thing you did.
The same thing. So he wants the bootleg from the revival.
Oh, okay.
The revival,
that's what you were watching last night, right? You were watching the show from the... Yeah.
After Cats, you know.
No one said that. I just hit play with what I found here. And it says Cats Broadway Revival. That's my friend Andy Blackenbuehler choreographed it.
That's right.
All right, baby.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, my date for that show was Anna DeBose.
Oh my God.
My date for the revival of Cats.
She's so cool.
Yeah, she's amazing.
She's so sweet, so loving.
Dancers, triple threats.
You know where and again, another one to be so proud of, you know, it's like she's come, I've seen her also come out of the ensemble, right? And do so much work and become this great lead. Like, I remember being in Germany working in Paramore, and Sergio was all about her. Like, Sergio Trujillo was like, oh my God, no, because maybe you should hire her, because I was about to direct Aida. And it's like, she would be your perfect Aida. And, you know, but she would be a perfect Aida. But Sergio's the greatest casting director you could ever hire, by the way.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this makes me want to know what you're working on now, or what is next, or did you have to put anything specific on pause?
Everything. It's the hardest part of this. Sorry. It's the hardest part of this moment.
Also real. I love all of this.
Say it again.
I love all of this. I love your son coming in and you running around, and like, it's just.
I told you. I don't know if you got my text, but I was like, I'm home. It's gonna be home. It's gonna be you with me at home.
I love that.
And my belly's like, because my wife is cooking some amazing mofongo today. We're gonna eat home mofongo. I'll show you. I'll walk you by the kitchen later, so you see what's going on there.
I forget what mofongo is.
Okay, so mofongo is the greatest dish ever, which is my son's favorite food. It's smashed plantain. So what you do is we're gonna boil it for a little bit, and then you're gonna fry it a little bit, and then you're gonna smash it, and then you're gonna make it into this volcano shape. Come in. Then you're gonna make it into this volcano. So more. This is my stepdaughter, Mariana Herrera.
Hola! I saw you dancing today. You're a great dancer.
Thank you.
What do you see her do the Gabriela Garcia combo or the Matt Steffens?
I don't know what the music.
I think the one I posted.
Yeah, the YouTube.
Yeah, so Gabriela. You want to dance for her? Or you want to go take a shower?
No, I'm taking a class.
Oh, she's taking a class.
That's great.
Marianita is
I think I need to learn to dance. This may be my moment.
well,
Do you
this
offer
is
any beginner classes?
Claro. All the classes are sort of like available to every level at the moment because we want people to be able to I don't know what I said. Somebody's correcting me something here. The classes are accessible so that people can really just, you know, spend their time at home and be able to distress from what's going on. So Revolución Latina's classes are from beginner to advanced beginner levels so that everyone can do them and do it more as an exercise at home. So you are more than welcome to get started with us.
I think I will. I mean, I'm such a beginner that the only thing I know about dance is 5, 6, 7, 8. Anything that comes after
7, 8. So yeah, Marianita is an incredible case. Out of Revolución Latina, I started going to Colombia, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago because Sergio sent me, and we'll go back to your question before because you were going into the casting and Sergio and but the
wait, when you think you mean Colombia, the country, or do you mean
yeah,
Colombia?
in Colombia, yeah. I've been doing a lot of Latin America work for, I don't know, the last 10 years. And with Revolución Latina, mostly I get to travel and do educational programs and teach the philosophy of going beyond. And so this girl, I met when she was 9 years old. And I have pictures of her like this big. And now she is just a stunning dancer. And I gave her scholarships for many different, you know, time periods. But there was a point where I was like, what am I going to give her? Give her a class scholarship. I have to give her production opportunities. So I started bringing her from Colombia to do the shows every year that I had. So she's done Ragtime. She did Aida. She was now in my cast of Matilda. With Revolución Latina, she's done the Choreographers Festival, the Shakespearean Experience. And this year she was scheduled to do Titus. And she was actually going to play Lavinia.
Wow.
This little girl. This miracle. Anyway, and so knock on the door, Jenny. Anyway, and so she's sorry.
You sing all of Matilda for me.
Oh my God, I can't. And so we bring her over for chunks of 4 to 5 months, and she lives with us. And we let her, you know, take all the classes she wants and have all the experiences. And her parents are incredible. So I call her my adopted daughter.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah. She teaches me a lot too as a parent.
I bet.
Yeah.
Teenage girls are great teachers.
She's a great teacher. She yeah. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
Like, give me your phone at 10 p.m. No more Instagramming after 10.
So what were you working on that you had to pause?
So, you know, there at the moment I was doing Matilda, and we only got a week into the run, and unfortunately,
Where
we were doing it at the Axelrod Theater. The Axelrod Theater is a theater in New Jersey that I've been working with for the last 3 years. Actually, when Gala Theatre in DC called me to do In the Heights, Andrew DePriest told me to do it in New Jersey for me to do like pre-production in the show, to go back to the show, to be able to figure it out, you know, the study the script again and know where I was going to take it with the translation. It was a great exercise, and my relationship with Andrew at that moment became really great. And so I ended up doing 3 more productions after that, which was Ragtime and Aida and now Matilda.
Is Matilda a Spanglish production?
No. So the Axelrod Theater, it's an American audience. It's actually a Jewish community space, and they were doing community theater for a while. And after we did our first production of In the Heights, it started turning the page into more of a professional theater organization. So it's been growing. Like we had Brian. Oh my God, I just forgot his last name. But Brian played our Matilda, and it's like bringing equity actors. They did Mamma Mia, and Doreen Montalvo was in it. Marco Santana came in and did, if I'm not mistaken, he did Newsies. So they started sort of upping their game, and this was my 4th and final production with them. But it's been a wonderful journey. I've been really trying to develop more my voice as a director and choreographer, but mostly as a director. So it's been a wonderful space for me to learn that voice and learn that variety of styles that I can put into my work.
Will you tell people about Revolución Latina?
Of course.
Because make sure that we can promote this incredible organization.
Thank you. So Revolución Latina is a nonprofit organization under the umbrella of Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS. And we've been with them for 11 years. It was born out of In the Heights at the 37 Arts Center. When I started there performing at In the Heights, the representation of Latinos on Broadway wasn't what it is now. Actually, I will credit a lot of what it is now to In the Heights. And so I was there feeling so blessed and so lucky to be surrounded by people like Eliseo Roman, Priscilla Lopez, Andrea Burns, Janet Dacal, you name it. Lin-Manuel Miranda, who at that time was just a pure inspiration based on just his daily life, not on the name that he is today. And so I was looking at these humans and saying, why don't we know more of the stories of this incredible Latino artists who so well represent who we are, including Pilo, including Priscilla Lopez, who had won Tony Awards. And, you know, you would have asked people and some people would have been, yeah, I know who she is. And people don't know who she is. Like the other day I entered a room with like 150 Argentinians and I was like, so, you know, Graciela Daniel. And I was like, there were 3 people who knew who Graciela Daniel was and is. And I was like, guys, it's like our representation. You got to know who she, like Ragtime was first choreographed by Graciela Daniel. It's like, what? And so it was a great opportunity to celebrate and honor and call to inspiration through the legacy of these humans who I was surrounded by at that moment. And it turned out that from there we started doing educational programs, and so we started serving children all around the Bronx and Queens, and so we started doing a summer camp, and that summer camp then became adult programming, because then the adult programming became who's the people who become volunteers for the children. And it's a wonderful project of love, in which the philosophy is that we do the work because we want to. We started for so long with people not necessarily doing it to get paid, and at the moment we have only 2 people who work. Heather Hogan, who I take my hat off to, and Denise Ambert are you know, our office leaders who make sure that the entire year runs, and everybody else donate their time. Incredible artists from all over Broadway come every year to provide classes in singing, acting, and dancing to mostly our Latino community, but not limited to them.
So if we want to help, do we donate directly to Broadway Cares, or is there a separate?
In order for the funds to go to Revolución Latina, you will want to donate directly to Revolución Latina. The funds will live under the Broadway Care account that is separated for Revolución Latina. Okay,
got it. Good. Well, when I upload this to YouTube for the archives, I'll put a link where people can donate.
Thank you.
Put one for the Actors Fund, since everybody's trying to raise money there, and but we can distribute our resources and try to help as many people as possible.
Thank you so much, because that every little helps, as you know. And when you do that, not only you're helping that moments like now get to have these classes. The people that are the 100 people that took classes today did not pay one dime for the classes, but we are giving them the teachers a stipend at the moment because no one is able to work. So we want to make sure that the teachers get to at least buy their groceries. So they are getting paid to teach these free classes at the moment. And so part of what that is the way we activate those funds. And when emergencies like this happen, when Puerto Rico had the hurricane, we put over $100,000 in the island by activating the Puerto Rican artists locally who could help us again, como se dice, distress mentally the areas and the children and the families that art could impact. And so when they donate to Revolución Latina, that's what they're donating for.
That's amazing. Speaking of Puerto Rico, do you know how the virus is affecting the island? Do they have the resources? I mean, nobody has the resources they need, but
the big issue with the island is that it was the hurricane, and then it was the earthquakes, and now it's the virus. So it's not only the fact that the virus is or is not affecting, it's the accumulation of situations that have happened in the last 2 years. So the island is hurt, you know, unfortunately. Now the people of the island are the most joyful and resilient and dare to go beyond as humans you can ever, I think, meet. And so, you know, they, in that sense, I think they are okay. And I dare say that by talking to my father and to my mother-in-law and to my mother and to my sister, and knowing that their spirits are like warriors spirits, you know. But the reality is that there was a guy from, I think, Italy, who was in the hospital affected by the coronavirus. And, you know, he was able to get to a hospital and get attended and get healed. And so
in Puerto Rico?
In Puerto Rico. So he came out and came into the news saying, thank you, Puerto Rico, because if this was happening to me in Italy, and even if it was happening to me in some parts of the United States at this moment, I might have not been able to be seen. And Puerto Rico had the space, the capacity at that moment to welcome him into the hospitals and take care of him and get him out of there healthy. So at the moment, I think that I think the current governor did a good timing in shutting down the island early enough that I think it's being manageable.
Good. You seem to have a lot of energy and spirit. Are you doing okay emotionally? Are you having ups and downs? Like, is there?
I am having ups and downs.
Community can project to you or give to you to like help you. I don't know. Like, do you need anything specific that I or the people watching can help provide?
I think I need that we all continue to do what we do and that we all continue to smile and help each other. I would lie to you if I don't say that this has hit me really hard. You asked me about projects earlier, and there are many future projects that were in line that just completely dropped and that won't be able to be recovered because of the timeline, because we lose the theater, because, you know, no one knows what the next thing is, and by the time that the next thing comes, those theaters will potentially try to apply by what was already in their season somehow. And so it's a really professionally difficult time. I had also just taken the luxury of doing a new kitchen and building this room as my office room. So I kind of put all my investments out into renovating my apartment, which was fantastic at the time until this happens and you're like, oops, that was a mistake. So I have my ups and downs as far as like what the next thing can be, and my responsibility as a father and as a husband. And sometimes you want to be better, you know, you want to be better. You want to be able to give your family a better scenario, and sometimes you can't. And so that is frustrating and that takes a toll. But we are all in the same boat. So for me to play my own violin is not a viability to me, because
it does not sound like that's what you're doing. First of all, I asked, and second of all, I think sharing our stories of what we're going through, especially in a forum like this, means that we can feel more connected to each other. So yeah. It doesn't sound like you're going, oh, boo-hoo, poor me. It sounds like you're sharing something that we can all
No, and I appreciate it, and I'm thankful for it, because like I said, you know, who calls those who are marching? And so I appreciate that I get to express it, and that I'm sure that there's people watching this that are at home feeling like, I feel like I'm crazy because I'm going through this shit alone. Well, you're not alone. I'm going through this shit too. And my wife has had to give me like 3 speeches the last 2 days to sit me down and say, you know, there's so much more value in you, Luis Salgado, than you performing or than you creating a show. But we forget that because we're hungry for that show. We're hungry for that show, and we're hungry for what we do, and we're hungry for what we share, and we're hungry for the dreams we want to accomplish, and we're hungry for my kid growing up, you know, and 15 years from now saying, shit, look what my dad did. And so when you cannot do what you love, it takes a toll. But the reality is that what we can do now is what we're doing, which is sharing with each other and going home and I mean, going to the kitchen and after we're done and helping somewhat with the Mukon Go and making sure that we have a little bit of a movie night before we have to wake up and try to figure out how do we survive one more day.
Well, I feel like proud of you for having such a like good relationship with the emotional ups and downs. If the thing that I've been thinking about the most today is that, like I said at the start of our conversation, everybody has a different way of dealing. And for some people, it's cooking. For some people, it's dancing. For some people, it's fundraising. For some people, it's doing live broadcasts. And for other people, it's just retreating. Yeah. And I think it can be easy to get confused by the people in your life if they have a different kind of reaction. And I've been thinking about that a lot today in terms of people that I love. I just want to say, like, let it to everybody, like, however you're reacting, okay. And the more patient we can be with each other, when our reactions don't line up, the better we'll all come through this. And maybe I think as a whole will rise.
Yes, and I think it's important to remember that I am one of those people who loves to say I'm crazy. Oh my God, I'm crazy. But at this moment, it's important to know that we're not crazy. It's important to know that the emotions and the roller coasters that we feel are real and are there's a reason for them. We're all going through something that has never happened before, you know, and we're lucky. We get to be asked to just stay home. You know, there's people who live this in other parts of the world because there's war or because there's hunger, because their families don't have a dime. And at this moment, it's because of our safety and our national's health circumstances. And what we're asked to do is to stay home, you know. And so there is a world where we can manage that pretty well. And I think we're doing that. And I know it can feel crazy at times because we are in that hustle. And in that, especially we New Yorkers, we're like in a world where we're like hustling day and night. Right. So to stop and feel like, oh shit, I don't know what to do. It's really a complicated mental thing. So it's important to remember that we're not crazy, that we're not losing it, that there's no problem with us other than the reality that's happening. And we should take a second, take a deep breath, exhale, and just remember that we're alive. What a lesson that is.
What a perfect place to finish. After we finish, I'm gonna have another, I may just sit with my eyes closed, like with my face pointed towards the windows and just like breathe, project some love into the world and remind myself that we'll all get through this.
Amen.
I want to remind everybody that tomorrow the floor will be open. I'm not going to have a guest the way that I have Luis on split screen today. I'm going to invite anyone who wants to come on and share this broadcast in a few minutes. So every Friday from till whenever this ends will be like that. We'll have a special guest on Saturday. Sunday will be the day off, and we'll have regular guests Monday, Thursday. So that's the schedule for the Shutdown Support Group, and they're all archived on the Broadway Girl YouTube channel. Luis, you are amazing. Thank you for letting us hear, you know, for people who love kids and haven't seen another being in the flesh in a long time.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for everybody that tuned in and for everybody that said hello. And here's the DC Metro Arts. I think that's Nicole. So thank you so much for everybody that supports theater like you do. And we owe a lot of what we accomplished to people like you. So thank you for this space. Yeah, you.
Oh, thank you. Well, if there's ever anything I can do for you online or off, you have my info. Call on me at any time. I'm here for you.
Thank you. Keep being you. That's the best you can do.
I will. Thanks, Luis.
Bye. Have a good one.